Hello, welcome to the tutorial. So the first thing we're going to go over is navigation of the Paint.net program. So I haven't changed anything right now. Most people navigate using the bars on the bottom and the right in the zoom, but there's an easier way to do it. You can use your scroll wheel to scroll up and down. If you hold shift, you'll scroll left to right, and if you hold control while scrolling, you can zoom in and out. So this is a lot easier to do fast navigation rather than moving your mouse to the outsides of the screen every time. So I haven't changed any settings from when I opened the program. So this is just going to be going over a simple recolor because there are a lot of ways to do shading and to do recoloring, but some of them are a lot more effective than others. So I'm going to show you just a few pretty easy ways to do a basic recolor that should help with getting down the basics. So what I like to do first, I usually use the paint bucket. Make sure off the bat, whenever you use the paint bucket, you turn this anti-aliasing, turn it to disabled. Because if you have it enabled, let's say I just grab some blue, and I paint bucket, you can see it makes the lines kind of blurry because it tries to blend the pixels together. Make sure you turn that off, and it will keep the pixels intact and rigid. So what a lot of people do is you can go through every part and paint bucket each one, which works, but it takes a really long time. There's a really nice thing in Paint.net called global. This thing up here called flood mode, you can change it to global, and it will color every piece of white in the image that's the same tolerance as this. Usually you want your tolerance around 5, maybe 10%. I usually keep it around 5% so it doesn't get too much of the image on accident if the colors are too close. So there's a pretty easy recolor of the white. The second shading color is also as easy, and as you can see, it automatically does the palette as well. So for the next shading color, usually just take it down around 10 maybe. It's kind of whatever looks good. Maybe a little bit more for this one. Let's go to 75. That looks good. Just mess with this, the V. So there we go. We've already got our second color pretty much done. Now the third color is a little bit different because instead of just using the global like we've used before, we have to use individual because as you can see, it'll color the undersuit, which we don't want. So for this one, we actually have to go in and color every detail. Now, this will take some time to learn where they all are, but once you've worked on it enough, you'll memorize the location of each and every spot for shading. Up here. I'm not going to go through the whole image. This is just a quick. So there we go. So now we have a blue recolor done. There are a few other ways of doing recolors. I'm just going to go back. So you can also use this thing called the recolor tool. Now this tool is really nice. Another shortcut, the brackets on your keyboard can be used to change brush size quicker than going up here, though it will take a while if you want like a large. I'm going to go 1000 or 950, doesn't really matter. So this is basically achieving the same effect as Paint Bucket. Make sure you have anti-aliasing disabled and tolerance pretty low. And again, if you just click on some of the white, you can recolor all of it. And same with the second shading color, but again, the third one is going to be the undersuit as well, so that one's going to have to be more manual. You can use a smaller brush for it if you want. So say, bring the brush size down to like 20, and then you can just go across and do a lot more localized. Just be careful with the recolor tool that you don't miss anything. It is pretty easy to miss some coloring or accidentally go over like this. I think the paint bucket is the most effective way. So I'm just going to draw a quick little stripe and show you how to use layers easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a new layer. You can also do that down here with this button. So I now have a second layer. What I'm going to do is, I'll just use this. I'm going to draw a line using the line tool, and you can change the width of it, doesn't matter. This is just for a demonstration. This looks okay. So now you say, oh, we have a little bit of overlapping on the black and the bodysuit, which we don't want. So what we can do, hide this layer so I can see what I'm working with. Grab the magic wand tool, and this will grab everything that's connected to what you click. Grab all of the black in this area. And then we can use global for this, actually. Since it won't interrupt anything, it'll grab the whole image. We can also grab all of the color on the bodysuit. Hold control to add to selection, also. So grab all the bodysuit and all of this. And the only thing we want to take off on the arm is right here, but since we're not working with the elbow pad yet, we don't have to worry about that. So now that we have all of the black and the bodysuit selected, we can just go to the top and then press the delete key on our keyboard, and it will get rid of everything that was overlapping with the lines and the undersuit. The process is pretty similar for the next step with shading. Use Global Paint Bucket. Ooh, make sure you're selected on the right layer. Use Global Paint Bucket and select the shading color, and it will grab all of that shading color on the image. So now, let's darken our color a little bit. Go back to the top layer, and make sure you still have the selection, and then what you can do is, whoops, on the top layer, do Global Paint Bucket, and it will color everything that you've grabbed. So from there, we've already completed this stripe. All you have to do is delete the parts that are overlapping and recolor the parts on the shading. And with layers, that makes everything a lot easier. To merge down a layer, this is when you're completely done. So the layer isn't merged down, which means it's not actually set in the image yet. You can hit Control M or this little button right here, and it will merge the layer into the image, so it's now part of the actual image. So once you're done working with a layer and it's all finished, just merge it down and it'll connect itself to the bottom image, and your stripe is done. So that's pretty much it for the basics of Paint.net. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to contact me through Discord, ping me if you need. I don't mind. Thanks for watching.